Hi everyone, welcome to English Error Lab. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's start it. My name is Arya. I am 35 years old and today I have nothing. I sit on this cold park bench. My two children, Jack and Clara, are sleeping beside me. They are shivering in the night air. I take off my coat and cover them, but it is not enough. The wind is biting my skin. A month ago, I had a warm home. I had a husband. I had a future. I never thought my life would end up like this. I look at my dirty hands. I look at the empty street. I ask myself, how did I get here? I am tired. I am broken. But I cannot sleep. If I sleep, who will protect my children? Life was never easy for me. I grew up alone. My parents passed away when I was very young. I did not have brothers or sisters. I did not have grandparents. I was always the girl who sat alone at school. I always dreamed of a family, a real family. Then I met Mark. He was charming and handsome. He told me, Arya, I will take care of you. You will never be lonely again. I believed him. We got married. When Jack and Clara were born, I thought my life was finally perfect. I was a housewife. I cooked. I cleaned. And I loved them with all my heart. But people changed. Over the last year, Mark became distant. He came home late. He smelled of strange perfume. He stopped looking at me. I tried to talk to him, but he only shouted, "You are boring, Arya," he said. I need more. Then came the worst day of my life. It was a Tuesday evening. It was snowing in New York. The air was freezing. Mark came home, but he was not alone. A young, beautiful woman was with him. He looked at me with cold eyes. "Pack your bags," he said. I froze. "What?" I whispered. "Pack your bags and get out," Mark said loudly. "I want a divorce. This house is hers now." I could not breathe. "Mark, please," I cried. "Where will we go?" "The children. It is snowing." He did not care. He threw our suitcases out the door. He pushed me out and slammed the door. Click. That was the sound of my life breaking. I stood on the sidewalk with Jack and Clara. My children were crying. "Papa! Papa!" they called, but the lights in the house went out. We were alone. We had no family to help us, no friends to call, just us against the cold city. We walked to the bus station. I counted the money in my pocket. I had some savings, but not much. Mark had control of all the bank accounts. "Mama, I am hungry," Jack said softly. "Mama, I am cold," Clara whispered. I hugged them tight. "Do not worry," I lied. "Everything will be okay." I needed a place to stay immediately. I found a cheap room on an online list. The landlord asked for $500 cash up front. I was desperate. I gave him my last savings. He gave me a key, but when we went to the address, the key did not fit. The door was locked. I knocked and knocked. A stranger opened the door. "Who are you?" he asked. "I rented this room," I said, showing him the paper. The man shook his head. "Lady, you have been scammed. That happens a lot here. Go away." My heart stopped. The money was gone. My savings were gone. I had been foolish. I fell to my knees on the dirty pavement. I wanted to scream, but I had no voice left. We spent that night in a 24-hour fast food restaurant. The manager was kind. He let us stay until morning. The next day, reality hit me hard. No money, no home, no food, but I am a mother. I cannot quit. I found a job as a night cleaner in a large office building. The pay was very low, but I had no choice. Every night, I left Jack and Clara at a cheap motel room that I paid for day by day. I went to work. I scrubbed floors for 12 hours. I cleaned toilets. I took out heavy trash bags. My hands became red and cracked. My back ached constantly. I was so hungry. I bought bread for the children, but I only drank water. "Mama, eat with us," Clara said, holding out a piece of bread. I smiled weakly. "I am not hungry, baby. I ate at work." It was a lie. My stomach hurt from hunger. I felt dizzy every time I stood up. But I had to save every penny for the motel room. If I missed one payment, Mr. Henderson, the motel owner, would throw us out. He was a cruel man. No money, no room. He always said he did not care about children. One night it was particularly cold. I was cleaning the front steps of the office building. The wind was like ice. I saw an old woman sitting on a bench nearby. She was shaking violently. She had thin clothes and no hat. People walked past her. They ignored her. They looked at their phones. They looked at the ground, but they did not look at her. I stopped. I knew that feeling. I knew the cold. I walked over to her. She looked up. Her eyes were cloudy and confused. She looked lost. "Are you okay, ma'am?" I asked. She did not speak. She just shivered. Her lips were blue. I touched my neck. I was wearing my red wool scarf. It was the only thing I had left from my mother. It was my most precious possession. It was warm, soft, and smelled like memories. I looked at the old woman, then I looked at the scarf. I did not think twice. I took off the red scarf. The cold wind hit my neck immediately, making me shiver. I wrapped the scarf gently around the old woman's neck. "Please take this," I whispered. "It will keep you warm." The old woman touched the soft wool. She looked at me for a second. Her eyes were clear. She smiled a small, trembling smile. "Thank you," she whispered. I smiled back. "Stay safe." I went back to work. I was freezing, but my heart felt a little warmer. I did not know that this moment would change everything. 2 weeks passed. Life became harder. Mr. Henderson raised the rent of the motel room. "Prices are going up," he said with a nasty grin. I worked extra hours. I did not sleep. I stopped eating almost completely. I gave every piece of food to Jack and Clara. I became very thin. My skin was pale. Then one Tuesday, everything changed. I was scrubbing the floor in the main lobby. It was 3 a.m. My body felt heavy like lead. The room started to spin. I stopped and held on to my mop. "Just breathe, Sarah," I told myself. "You cannot fall. You must stand." But the black spots in my eyes grew bigger. The sound of the floor buffer sounded far away. I thought of my children. They were waiting for me. "Jack, Clara," I whispered. Then my legs gave up. The mop fell from my hands. Clatter. The floor rushed up to meet my face. My world went black. I heard voices, but they were muffled. She collapsed. "Call an ambulance." "Is she breathing?" Then darkness. Complete silence. Beep, beep, beep. I heard a rhythmic sound. I smelled something sharp. Medicine. I opened my eyes slowly. The light was too bright. I blinked. I saw a white ceiling. I felt a soft bed under my back. Panic exploded in my chest. I sat up quickly. "My children, where are my children?" A nurse ran into the room. "Please, ma'am, calm down. You are safe." "No." y cría. My children, they are alone at the motel. I have to go. They are here, the nurse said gently. They are in the waiting room. They are safe. I fell back onto the pillows. Tears ran down my face. I was safe, but fear gripped my heart. This was a hospital. A private hospital. I have no money, I whispered to the nurse, my voice shaking. I cannot pay for this. Please let me go. Do not worry about the bill. A deep voice said from the door. I turned my head. A man stood there. He was tall, dressed in a sharp gray suit. He looked wealthy and serious. Beside him in a wheelchair sat an old woman. My eyes widened. Around her neck was my red scarf. The man pushed the wheelchair closer to my bed. His face was kind. Do you remember her? The man asked softly. I looked at the old woman. She smiled at me, touching the red wool. Yes, I said. I saw her outside the office. She was cold. The man took a deep breath. This is my mother, Mrs. Higgins. She has Alzheimer's disease. That night, she wandered away from home. We were looking for her everywhere. We were so scared. He looked at me with tears in his eyes. The doctor said she could have frozen to death that night, but she didn't because someone gave her a warm scarf. He pointed to the red scarf. When we found her, she kept touching this scarf. She told us a kind angel gave it to her. We checked the security cameras of the office building. We saw you. I covered my mouth with my hand. I started to cry. I didn't want her to be cold. You saved her life, the man said firmly. My name is James, and I owe you everything. But I have nothing, I confessed, wiping my tears. My husband threw us out. I work as a cleaner. I have debts. I cannot pay this hospital bill. James smiled. He took a chair and sat beside me. The bill is already paid, he said. I gasped. What? But, and that is not all, James continued. I own this hospital. I looked at your file. I know you are struggling, but I also saw how hard you work. I saw how you treated my mother. He paused, then took an envelope from his pocket. I don't want to just give you money, James said. Money runs out. I want to give you a future. He opened the envelope. It was a contract. We need a manager for the hospital kitchen and canteen. It is a hard job. It requires organization, care, and kindness. It comes with a good salary, health insurance, and a small apartment near the hospital for staff. I stared at the paper. My hands were shaking. A job. A real job. A home. A real home. Is this real? I asked, my voice barely whisper. It is yours, James said. If you want it. I looked at the door where Jack and Clara were waiting. Then I looked at James and his mother. Yes, I said. Yes, please. Life did not become easy overnight. I had to heal. I had to learn the new job. But I worked hard. Every day I woke up with a purpose. 3 months later, we moved into the staff apartment. It was small, but it was warm. There were beds with soft blankets. There was a kitchen where I could cook hot meals. I remember the first night in our new home. Jack and Clara were sleeping soundly. They were not shivering. I sat by the window and looked at the city lights. I was no longer afraid of the dark. James became a good friend to us. His mother, Mrs. Higgins, visited us often. She still wore the red scarf, even indoors. One day I went to the store and bought a new scarf. It was blue, but I knew the red one was exactly where it belonged. I lost my husband, but I found my dignity. I lost my house, but I found a home. I learned something important on those cold streets. No matter how poor you are, you can always be kind. You always have something to give. Even if it is just a smile or an old scarf, kindness is the only currency that never loses value. It is never wasted. It always comes back to you. Sometimes when you need it the most. I was the abandoned wife. I was the tired cleaner. But now I am Sarah. I am a mother. And I am happy. If this story touched your heart, please like and share it with your friends. It helps more than you know. Remember, kindness creates miracles. Thank you for watching.